With the January transfer window looming, Arsenal have a chance to make a statement. Currently top of the Premier League, many fans still believe we need to strengthen, and with a wide forward a priority, it looks like Edu Gaspar is acting. So today we'll find out about a behind the scenes meeting as Arsenal try to close a signing. We'll also get an update from David Ornstein on William Saliba and find out what's happening with Alexander Zinchenko. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Babs14 and welcome back to your boys channel. The Arsenal are still top, so I still want to see smiles on faces, and as per, if you enjoy the content, make sure to go down there to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new, as we are so close to 125,000 subscribers. But let's get into the breaking Arsenal news. William Saliba has been a star player for Arsenal so far this season, but his current Arsenal contract expires in 2023, the end of this season, but with Arsenal having an automatic option to extend. According to David Ornstein, Arsenal are now in formal contract talks with William Saliba. Offer made to the 21-year-old defender. No agreement yet, but negotiations are ongoing as Arsenal seek to secure the long-term future of the France international. Arsenal have made their first official offer, and even though there has been no agreement, the fact that Arsenal have made the offer means that progress is being made. And the fact that on many occasions in the past, Saliba has confirmed that he's very happy at Arsenal, the fact that he's loving life in London, and even with the Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta saying that he's confident Saliba's going to extend. He might have a few little flaws in his game, but in terms of the overall potential, it's crazy, and Arsenal fans are seeing that. And I think all that's left here is for Arsenal to find an agreement in terms of wages and give him the number 2 shirt. Talking of young star boys, Bukayo Saka has become the 3rd youngest player in Premier League history to reach 20 Premier League assists. The 20th coming on the weekend against Nottingham Forest, and it was fantastic, cutting in on the left hand side, on the left foot. It was beautiful scenes, but of course subbed off in the first half an hour. What's happening with the fitness of Bukayo Saka? Well, according to Mark Owen, Arsenal are cautiously optimistic that Bukayo Saka did not suffer a serious injury against Nottingham Forest and could even be available to face Chelsea on Sunday. Arsenal fans can relax just a little bit as our star boy looks like he's going to be fine. Owen also says the Arsenal medical team are encouraged by the fact that Saka was able to play on for 15 minutes after the initial collision before coming off as a precaution, and the fact that he was able to leave the stadium without the need of crutches or a protective boot. Now, Arsenal do have a game this Thursday against FC Zurich in the final Europa League match day, but with the game at the Emirates Stadium and Arsenal only needing 1 point, I don't see Bukayo Saka playing, but more importantly, Chelsea on Sunday, Stamford Bridge, a chance for Arsenal to make another statement. I think we'll find out in the next few days if Saka is going to be available for that game. But after Saka's departure on Sunday, it gave an opportunity to the forgotten man at Arsenal, Mr. Reiss Nelson. 2 goals and 1 assist, a reminder to Arsenal fans of his quality. Fabrizio Romano says that more than 3 clubs asked for Nelson on loan in the summer, but Arsenal decided to keep him. Arteta was really happy with his approach to training. Nelson can be a really important player for Arsenal to be used when rotating the squad for now. I don't think Arsenal fans realise that even last year, playing for Feyenoord, a very decent Eredivisie team, Nelson was able to establish himself as a starter week in week out, starting in the biggest game, the UEFA Conference League final, and his numbers weren't off the charts, but what you were seeing was a player growing week in week out in terms of confidence, and confidence is the key thing for Reiss Nelson. But as we saw on Sunday, after Nelson scored his goal, with confidence he comes out of his shell and shows signs of a quality player. He's out of contract at the end of the season, but Nelson says, "I've never doubted myself at this football club. Arsenal is a team that I've been at since I was 8 years old. I only have some months left on my contract. Getting a new deal would be amazing, and I would love to commit to the club." And so many Arsenal fans want to see him succeed, but in terms of getting a brand new contract, that Reiss Nelson that we saw on Sunday is the player that we need to see on a far more consistent basis. Moving on to some breaking transfer news. According to reports in Uruguay, this upcoming Friday, the representatives of Facundo Torres will travel to London to try to seal a move to Arsenal. Facundo Torres, the Uruguayan international, 22 years of age, and if Arsenal fans can remember, he actually scored a very decent goal against us in pre-season. And further reports out of Uruguay have also claimed Torres is very close to an Arsenal move in the next transfer window. The Orlando City player is looking for a new destination in Europe, and his agents will travel to London in the next upcoming days to close the deal with the Gunners. Now, these guys are very reliable sources in terms of Uruguayan players, and even in terms of the UK, you've got Arsenal correspondent Charles Watts says, "My understanding is it's still very much at an early advanced stage. and at the moment, there have been no talks between the clubs or anything like that. As far as I'm aware, this weekend, there is going to be a meeting between Edu and the players' representatives, so that's where we are. It's nowhere near a deal being done or anything like that. Despite there being no negotiations with the club Orlando City, it looks like Edu Gaspar is making progress first things first with the player side, and with a meeting planned in London, are Arsenal trying to agree personal terms. But I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans are asking the same question: why do Arsenal want to sign Facundo Torres? Well, according to Simon Collins, Arsenal's interest in Facundo Torres is believed to be partly born out of the findings of scout Tony Lima, who has a strong track record of identifying South American talent and is credited by being one of the first to spot Neymar and Felipe Coutinho. And a lot of other reports have also confirmed that this is a player being pushed by the Arsenal scouts, who they believe is perfect for Mikel Arteta. But in terms of profiles, Torres is a right winger, but also more than able to play on the left hand side. Having initially broken through for Peñarol in Uruguay, he then signed for Orlando City in January 2022 for a club record $9 million. And in his first year in the MLS, 9 goals and 8 assists with 23 goals and assists in all competitions. Just like Bukayo Saka, he is also left-footed and he loves to cut inside from the right and move into central areas. Torres has very secure passing numbers, but even more importantly, what stands out the most for me is his ability to strike the ball. Torres' left foot can be lethal, and in terms of that clean ball striking, his goal against Arsenal in pre-season was a prime example. And even though he's not as physically quick as Bukayo Saka in terms of cutting inside and playing as a creative player, of course depending on the price tag, this transfer could make a lot of sense. So to you guys that have watched Facundo Torres, as Arsenal tried to close a deal, comment down below if you'd be happy if Arsenal signed him. Moving on to Arsenal versus FC Zurich. Now this was meant to be a simple and easy game at the Emirates Stadium, but after our defeat against PSV, Arsenal must avoid defeat in this game if they want to finish top of the Europa League group. And in terms of the opponents, FC Zurich, they have won the last 2 games in a row, and after beating Bodo Glimt, if they were to win this game, they can make it into the UEFA Conference League. But in terms of Arsenal, after 2 games without a win, it was back to winning ways after a 5-0 win against Nottingham Forest. Now Zurich are a team that last year in the Swiss League were fantastic, but this year they have been awful. Currently bottom of the Swiss League with 9 points, with 1 win all season and 7 defeats. Making it into the Conference League could be their only saving grace for the rest of this season, so for them it's massive. For Arsenal, in terms of the team news, we are still without Emil Smith-Rowe. Arsenal are also likely to be without Matt Turner. I don't think Bukayo Saka is going to be involved, but we could see the return of Mohamed El Neni, who has returned to full Arsenal training and was even spotted being involved in the Arsenal warm-downs after our win against Nottingham Forest. With this being a game that Arsenal simply can't lose, how exactly is Mikel Arteta going to line up? I think it's going to be a 4-3-3 with Ramsdale in goal, and a back 4 of Ben White, Rob Holding, Gabriel Magalhaes and Kieran Tierney, a midfield 3 of Sambi Lokonga, Granit Xhaka and Fabio Vieira, and a front 3 of Gabriel Martinelli, Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson. A little mix of rotation, but most importantly, just enough quality for Arsenal to win the game. Now even though Zurich are in awful form, as we saw at their ground, they showed signs of being a threatening team in the second half, and in European football anything is possible. So for Arsenal it's all about being professional and making sure the job is done. And even though we only need a point, with this being our last European game at the Emirates Stadium before the World Cup, I would really much appreciate an emphatic win. But as per, make sure to comment down below your own personal lineups and most importantly your matchday predictions. Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with an Arsenal centre back thriving in the Championship, Mr. Austin Trusty, who has now scored 3 goals in October and has earned a place in the Championship Team of the Month, and his last goal was sensational. And the only way I can really describe it is a scorpion kick reverse volley. The technique is outstanding, and for Austin Trusty, he is continuing his excellent form for Birmingham City, and the Birmingham manager says he is going to be a top player. He is going to go back to Arsenal whenever that is at the end of the season and hopefully push for the first team spot, and I think he certainly deserves to go to the World Cup. Now most importantly, Trusty is a left-footed centre back, and in the future, as Arsenal look to find competition for Gabriel Magalhaes, with the way this guy is currently playing, if he thrives at the World Cup for the USA, let's keep an eye on Austin Trusty for next season. Moving on to Takehiro Tomiyasu. Despite the availability of Kieran Tierney, Mikel Arteta is playing Tomiyasu as the left back. And we all know about the inverted left back, but more specifically, when you've watched Tomiyasu play in the recent games, he's basically playing in midfield. And I think this article kind of explains it, as Tomiyasu has told the Sunday Mirror that he used to play as a holding midfielder in Japan, saying, "When I was in Japan, I used to play as a number 6, and I only started playing as a fullback 3 or 4 years ago." Now, Arsenal play a very attacking system with the likes of Xhaka and Odegaard push forwards, and it can leave Thomas Partey very exposed. Maybe the history of Tomiyasu playing in midfield maybe explains why Mikel Arteta is picking Tomiyasu over Tierney as the left back. But talking about left backs, Alexander Zinchenko, who has been out with a reoccurring calf injury, according to reports, is expected back in training this week ahead of our game against Chelsea. We do have Tierney, we do have Tomiyasu, but there's just something about Alexander Zinchenko, his quality on the ball, his calmness, his composure. As Mikel Arteta goes down the full inverted left back role, I definitely think Zinchenko is the best option for Arsenal when he is fit and available. And even though his calf injury is a little bit of a concern, if he can return to full availability ahead of a massive game against Chelsea, as Mikel Arteta has shown, every time Zinchenko has been available, he will start for Mikel Arteta. But that's the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and if you have, make sure to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. Make sure to also follow your boy on all of my social medias, as the links are down below in the description. But that was today's latest Arsenal news, and even though we have a massive game on Thursday, all the eyes are on Facundo Torres, so let's see how things progress, and I will see you next time. Take care and good night.